It's a portable monitor that's made for gaming, and it has some features that I can't wait to test out. Let's go ahead and check it out. Hey everybody, it's Chris from Family Geekery, and today we're going to be checking out this portable monitor here. And there's not much in the box, but this is a portable monitor from a company called Frunsi, and I think that's how you pronounce it. Frunsi contacted me and said, hey, we've got this monitor. We'd like for you to check it out, test it out, do a video on it. So they sent it to me. I give them the same terms that I give everybody. Hey, I'm happy to check something out for you, but I'm going to do a complete review on it for my viewers, and you won't get to see it until they see it, and it's going to be all my opinions. So thank you to Frunsi for sending this to us. Let's go ahead and check it out. So there's not much on the box at all, like no specs or anything on here, but it's an 18.5-inch monitor. I think you can see that this is quite a bit larger than your average portable monitor. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what it looks like. Alright, so inside the box there is a instruction manual, and it's actually pretty helpful. There's a lot of good information on there, so we may have to reference some of that as we go. And here's the monitor itself. And man, that is very thin. So let's get that out of the way and see what else is inside the box here. We got some foam and then a bunch of cables. So let's see what we got. Got a USB-C to USB-C cable. Got another USB-C to USB-C cable. And this is looks like a mini HDMI to HDMI. And then a actual power brick. So that's nice. A lot of electronics these days come with all the cables that you need, but never give you this power brick. So that's nice, and it looks like a 30-watt output here. We got several different options on the power delivery: 5 volts, 12 volts, 9 volts, and 20 volts, and 15. So this is going to give us power from USB-C here to the monitor to power it on, and then we're going to have the option, so we'll use one of these cables for that, and then I think we'll have the option of using a USB-C to USB-C for whatever device you have that's USB-C video output capable, and then for any device that doesn't have that, we'll have a HDMI output here to go into the input of the monitor with the HDMI mini. So let's go ahead and open all this stuff up and set up the monitor and see what it looks like. So I use these types of portable monitors a lot on this channel, whether it's hooking up a console or mini console or some kind of video game device here at the desk, or if I take one into the workbench to set up a computer. Sometimes I'll use a small video like this just to read the BIOS and post the computer and have a way to troubleshoot the computer as I'm building it. So I've used these things a lot, and the first thing I want to show you is just a comparison of the one I've been using. So I've got a couple of these, and this is, I guess, like a 15-inch, and this is the 18.5-inch, so considerably larger, but it's still portable. And let me show you the next thing here. This type of monitor here always has this weird kind of case, which is nice. If you're going to throw this in a backpack, it's nice. You got this case to protect it. But I can never get the thing to stand up using this case. It's just an absolute mess. It kind of magnets on there, but it never stands upright. So I'm always using something else like this to set it on, which is fine. But that doesn't make it portable because I'd have to carry this thing around with me if I wanted to use it. Not super easy. I've used some other types of clamps on this thing before if I had to, but with this 18.5 one it has a couple options back here. First is a built-in stand, and this stand is pretty stout. It's going to hold its position. You know, it's nice and tight. Whenever I move it, it's got plenty of friction that I can put it at any angle, and I think it's going to stay there at that angle. So that's really nice. And the other thing is we've got a couple VESA mount screws back here. So if you did want to mount this permanently at your desk, you could use a cheap VESA stand and just to get an arm for your desk and put a couple screws in this thing and hold it up in place. So that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of this. And we've got our 3 ports. There's the mini HDMI on the top, and then our 2 USB-Cs. One that you can use for power in, and one that you can use to hook up to a USB-C capable device. And it looks like we got some speakers back here. We'll have to test those out. And then on this right side here, it's kind of hard to see, but I think that's a headphone jack in there, and then like a setting dial and a push button for either power or for the settings. So there must be like an OSD and on-screen display to change, brightness and hue and that kind of stuff. So we'll test that out also. So far so good. It's nice and thin, it's lightweight, and it's got a built-in stand. So far I like it. So the next thing we need to do obviously is hook something up to it. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to test out is just this little Arcade 1-Up Pac-Man collection. Just an easy little device to get some HDMI out of. So I'm just going HDMI to the mini HDMI of the monitor. I've got the monitor plugged up into its own power supply for the power going into the USB-C. So let's go ahead and just load up a game and play something with it and see how it looks. So we'll start with some Galaga. And from what I've heard so far, the speakers actually sound really great. They're nice and loud. So let's go ahead and play a little bit of this. And while this machine is a very convenient way of playing the games, it's not the most arcade realistic version of it, but it still does a good job. And you can see this, the screen looks great. This is a bad example because this is a vertical resolution game. So let's get out of here and get into a horizontal game. Alright, let's try some New Rally X. It's a little better game for this type of screen. Still, it's not going to be a 16:9, but it is taking up more of the screen now. And it looks great. The screen is very vibrant, the sound is very loud. We'll have to turn that down here in a second. But yeah, this is a great little portable monitor so far. So HDMI works great. Let's go ahead and try something else out. Alright, so next up I've got this ROG Ally right here, and a little docking station still going over HDMI to the monitor. I just wanted to see some more modern gaming on here and see what it looks like. And yeah, this definitely beats the heck out of playing it on a little 7-inch screen. Even with the studio lights kind of washing it out a little bit, it looks better in person, I promise you, than it looks to you right now. So, and I still haven't changed any settings in the OSD yet. We're going to take a look at those in just a second. But yeah, this is a good frame rate. It's supposed to be 100 Hertz, and I don't have any doubts that it's doing that. Now remember, this is just a little ROG Ally driving this thing, not like a gaming laptop or a full gaming PC or something. So even though it is a very capable little handheld, it's still not as powerful as a full-blown desktop would be. But yeah, it's definitely looks great. So let's see if I can pull up these menus. So I'm going to pull it in here closer to me so I can reach these menus back here. So back on the right or the left-hand side here, I've got an up-down toggle here for brightness. So let's go ahead and bring it up some. And yeah, that's going to take more power. Hey, I'm getting carjacked here. That's not cool. But it does look a lot better. That gets a little dark here, and it defaulted at 50. So let's bring it back up to 50. And 50 is pretty good, so I don't think you'd have to bring it up too much higher than that. But again, this really just depends on the environment that you're going to be in. So let's see what else we got. I've got a toggle here to go between the 3 different inputs here, HDMI, Type-C 1 and Type-C 2. Let's see what else I can get. There we go. So you have to actually press in on that wheel to get to the full menu here. So now you can see we've got brightness, contrast, black level, sharpness, all the things that you'd want to be able to adjust. Next menu down has, looks like eco mode, DCR, and you can change the aspect ratio. Then we can change the color temperature. We can change the language and the transparency of the on-screen display. We can reset all the defaults, and then change, looks like the signal source, low blue light, HDR mode, and FreeSync. So right now it's showing that looks like it was at 1920 by 1080 and 60 Hertz at this point. So plenty of things to change on there. The knobs and buttons to do so are a little bit awkward, but once you understand what they're doing, then it's kind of easy to get in and out of those menus. Alright, next up, I'm going to go ahead and use the USB-C input and hook this thing up to a USB-C device. Alright, so now I've got the USB-C cable plugged into this Samsung tablet here, and just got some YouTube playing, and again, looks great. 1080p, I got no doubts about that. The color, again, we've got this set on just the default colors, and they look fine. I'm sure you can tweak those if you wanted to kind of match whatever display that you wanted, but it looks great. So I still have this powered by the power supply, and I've got it, so basically 2 USB-C cables plugged into it. So the next thing I want to try is maybe grabbing a computer with the USB-C output and seeing if we can power this thing and throw video all over one cable. Alright, so now I've got just a single cable here, just one of the included USB-C to USB-C. I've got that plugged into this MacBook Air right here. And this is just one of the 2020 MacBook Air i5 processors. And we've got, obviously it's working. So we've got it set up right here for mirror. When I plugged it in, it just automatically mirrored the display over to the external display. And we can set that, if we stop mirroring, then it'll set it up as a second display here. So now you can see my mouse over here, and then back onto the main screen over here. So it just worked perfect first time. Plugged it in, one cable. I don't even have external power plugged into the MacBook Air. I'm just running off of the battery for both the laptop itself and for the external display. So this is nice, one cable. This is what a lot of people are looking for if they have, the need for having an extended display or a portable solution for a second display. This is great. Just plug one cable in and you're working. So I think I've tested this thing out enough here. Give you some opinions so far. Like I said, I like it. It's very convenient. It's lightweight and skinny for what it is, but still being very tall. You can see the bezel is extremely thin all the way around it, so it doesn't take up much more room than the space itself. Another thing I like is the built-in stand. We talked about that before. It's worked perfectly throughout this whole test, so that's nice. And it folds back upon itself, flat if you're going to pack this thing up, obviously, or if you're going to use those VESA mounts on the back, it folds up flat so you can go ahead and mount this on a VESA arm. And then the other thing I like is the fact that the cables are coming off of the back of this little bump out back here instead of coming out of the side of the monitor itself. Most of the other ones, I think all the other ones that I have right now, and I've got like 3 different ones of these that I use throughout the office and the studio, they all have cables that stick right out the back here, and it's just not only just an eyesore, but it just looks like they're making horrible bends. I did a video on using redirectors, like right angles for those to do that, but on these, the connection is about right here on the monitor, so it has plenty of room to come out straight and then bend around to whatever it is that you're plugging into. So that's great also. So to sum it all up, the screen looks great, the speakers are great, the connections are perfect, the built-in stand is awesome, I think. And the only thing it's really missing is I would have liked to have some kind of sleeve or something to put it into, or some kind of attachable cover, so that if you did want to put this in a backpack or a briefcase or something like that, it'd have something to protect the screen. But I think you can get a laptop sleeve, pretty cheap to fit this in. So that may be what I do, is just grab one of those thin laptop sleeves and use that to hold the screen and the cables that I need. So thank you again to Frunsi for sending me this for the review. I hope you guys got something out of this. If you enjoyed this video, I appreciate a thumbs up. If you want to see more reviews and more stuff and computer builds and all kinds of geeky stuff, go ahead and check out the rest of the channel. You might find something you like. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. I appreciate you guys watching as always, and until next time, peace out and geek out.